the players that we're relying on, as I've mentioned before, Rashfords, Brunos and stuff, what they have shown us through their Man United career, the only thing that they've shown that they're reliable at is being unreliable.
And I just look at Ten Hag and I feel like he's lost the dressing room already.
Gallagher does whatever he wants and plays wherever he wants. If Gallagher wants to go up front, Gallagher goes up front. If he wants to stand in the dugout or Poch, he does that too. He will do whatever he wants.
Man said Gallagher runs Chelsea now, yeah. How did this happen?
Yo, it's your boy H Black the Source, Harry Pinero, and welcome back to the Inside Scoop. Of course, actually, I'm not even going to say of course, because it's been a minute since I've seen Culture Cams. I don't know what's happened. Last week it was his birthday. The other week he's in Germany. And you know what? I've seen Joey more than I've seen you.
Where have you been, bro?
Well, I've been
Where have you been? You've been in Qatar.
Oh.
Where else have you been? You've been missing.
I've been over here.
You've been missing.
Well, it's good to have you back, brother.
Yeah,
a familiar face, of course. This is his channel as well, Culture Cams, and a favourite of the channel, actually. Joey Knight is in the building right now, Chelsea fan. So yeah, just glad to have you guys back where you belong, Culture Cams. Anyway, obviously there's been a lot of football happening. First and foremost, rest in peace, Sir Bobby Charlton.
Rest in peace.
We lost an absolute legend, so our prayers and thoughts are with his family. I was actually at the game last night, actually, and it was a very fitting tribute. Shout out to the Copenhagen fans as well, because they was giving their round of applause. Would you guys say that's because Gary Neville said something the other day, the most decorated English player of all time?
I mean, I don't know about trophy-wise, because, you know, a lot of players...
He did win won the World Cup.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you include the World Cup. But I definitely think he's like the GOAT of GOATs. You know what I mean? We all have our generation GOATs. Or some people can say Rooney, Lampard, whatever. But he is the GOAT of GOATs, you know what I mean, in English football and for Manchester United as well. Yep. Like, he's a figurehead, bro. Like, as long as I remember football, I knew Sir Bobby Charlton, and he didn't even play, obviously. And so he's just always been present. You look at the 1966 World Cup, he's there. The fact that he's a Munich survivor, bro. Munich survivor. Imagine the trauma he had to go through. Not just physically, the pain, mentally, to lose your teammates and to still bounce back. I think they won the FA Cup 3 years later, then won the Champions League in 68 and obviously the World Cup in 66. His story it needs a documentary, a 100%. proper documentary, like winning the World Cup with your brother as well, Jack Charlton, RIP to him as well. I just think, what a man, bro. What a man. Ballon d'Or. Yeah. Ballon d'Or winner as well.
One of the original
English
players to win.
The first English captain to lift the UCL. Amazing guy, man. And as Rio has said, as Gary Neville has said, not just him on the pitch, as an ambassador for this club. Always is Sir Bobby up there. When Sir Alex Ferguson was on the touchline, Sir Bobby was above. Then eventually Sir Alex went up as well. So honestly, it's such a loss, man. Such a loss.
Well, yeah, our thoughts and prayers go to the family of Sir Bobby Charlton. But keeping it with Manchester United, we've been on a little run, you know. It's been an ugly run, though. Don't get it twisted. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it. But like Joey said the last time he was on him, a win is a win. And I feel like that's something that we have to literally praise. If that's the only thing, is the fact that we're able to get some W's. Now, last night's game was against Copenhagen in the Champions League, and it was considered a must-win game because we've lost 2 games already in the group to Bayern and to Galatasaray. Now, from you guys' opinion, I'll start with you, Joey, if you did watch the game or you saw the clips or whatever. What was the problem with Man United starting? Because we played horribly in that first half. There was nothing. There was no cohesiveness. It looked like we was playing against each other more than with each other. What do you reckon the problem was in the first half?
I can't really pinpoint any specific, but the problem with Man United at the moment is in terms of their actual style of play and their fluidity as a team, it's not always coming together at the moment. The thing they've got going in their favour is the individual talent. They've got match winners. They've got players that can go and grab a game by the scruff of the neck, and obviously that's what is pulling them out of certain situations a lot of the time. That being said, though, second half, obviously they did start to look a lot better. Christian Eriksen came on. They were creating more opportunities and whatnot, and I think it's very, very fitting that man, Harry Maguire, got the goal in the end.
Harry Maguire is obviously a good friend of Cam's.
Cam, a good friend of you.
Cam absolutely loves Harry Maguire here. But yeah, Cams, you obviously watched the game as well.
Yes.
You was very active on social media. What was your take on the game?
Look, first half, as Joey mentioned, it was a It was a joke. Honestly, the first half was a joke, and I was like, listen, we don't even look like the team that need to qualify here or that need the 3 points, especially at Old Trafford. It's like, how can you be performing that way? So it's something that we've seen all season, though. So that's where the real frustration stems. We have seen us perform like this many times this season. But look, in the second half, we did come out with a little bit more fire. It's like, one thing I always say about Man United is like, when we get into desperation mode, that's when we can attack. That's when we start playing with a bit of intensity. But it's like, why can't we do that through 90 minutes? That was the concern. And look, credit to Harry Maguire as well for, one, he's in the team and he got man of the match against Sheffield United and he scored the winner here. So look, he's put his head down. He's just focusing on what needs to be done. That was crazy. But he's just focusing on what needs to be done. So I got to rate his mentality in that situation because I'm not here to baby him like people are doing on Sky and all that type of stuff, saying, "Oh, poor lad" and all that. But he has been abused. He has been criticised heavily, and he's just getting on with it. We've got players that are on strike right now or whatever they're doing. He's just getting on with it. We were meant to sell him this summer. And we didn't, and here he is scoring winners, so credit to him, but let's not get too carried away with it.
Not just his scoring, though. When I was looking at the way he played, especially against Sheffield United, he's watched that David Beckham documentary, and he's thought, I'll have a bit of that. I'll start spraying balls around the pitch. He was like... a Beckham Pirlo hybrid in that Sheffield United game. So he's coming good, man. And I actually said, like, when we were looking at him getting picked for the national team, and everyone was saying, well, he's not going to be playing because of obviously the form with injuries of some of your defenders and whatnot. He'll play a lot of games.
I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't leave as well. Of course, he came out in England and said that it was never even agreed. But I think maybe he was kind of just saying that to kind of push it away a little bit. But I actually think he looked at it and thought, Varane's always injured. I'm going to get opportunities to still play at this team. If he knew he has zero chance of playing, he would have left the club. 100%. I think he knew he'll find his way back in the team.
I think one thing that I've always wondered was, why is it that whenever he plays for England, he plays really, really well? I've always wondered, why is it that, like, he didn't leave Manchester United when an opportunity was there to get regular first-team football?
All right, so it's a VAR check. Harry Maguire has just... Whoa, giving us the lead right now. Eriksen's cross. I just want to hear the fans' reaction to either it being a goal or not a goal. It's going to be a goal. Let's just check. You know this goal. Let's check. Number one centre back in the league at the moment. Oh, it's a goal! It's a goal! Hey, that's in!
And I think what we're seeing right now with Harry Maguire is that his mentality is absolutely key. Because a lot of players when they're in that situation, it's very easy to say I'm done, and it's very easy to mope around. But I think there's one thing we can never see is that we can never deny is that every time Maguire plays, he's trying. Whether or not he gets exposed in the game or what, but that's just match fitness. He hasn't played as much games to be as confident as most players are. But I agree. I think with Varane, I've seen Varane play a lot this season, and I haven't seen the same Varane that I saw the last season. And I think this is Maguire's chance right now to solidify his position.
Obviously, Lissandro's injured, isn't it?
Lissandro's injured right now, and he's definitely going to play against Man City as well. Going into that game now, with the confidence of, 3 wins on the trot, haven't been incredibly well. One thing I found out by watching the game yesterday was that our midfield still has no cohesiveness at all. Now, Bruno was non-existent in the game for me. Scott McTominay did a great job, I think, when Eriksen came on in terms of doing the dirty work so Eriksen could have control over the game. I think Eriksen was an integral part of why we even got the goal. His assist is the reason why we scored and stuff. What midfield would you play in that game, knowing that Rodri's back, Foden's going to be running rings around players and stuff? Is that an issue for Man United more than ever than our defence? Because I think our defence is pretty decent when we're facing trouble, but it's our midfield.
Yeah, I think the midfield has been an issue for United for so long. And we thought, getting Ten Hag in, that's going to be an area that's addressed immediately. And it still has question marks over it. I think... Look, Casemiro, one thing Casemiro has shown is that when he has a rest and come back, he's actually poor. He's actually poor. So he actually has a concern there. Does he bring Casemiro back in? Because he looks like one of them players that has to get going. He needs rhythm. And so, but I think he will come back into the team. So I think Casemiro will come back in. And I think he's going to stick with McTominay and he'll go with Bruno, I think. I think he's going to have to try and compact that midfield, try and be solid. Because Man City, when they start going, if we're making Copenhagen look like that, when Man City start passing it about, it's a very long evening. And Man City, we've seen it before. They've come Old Trafford and only won 2-0, but it's the most grueling 2-0. It felt like 180 minutes, not 90. Do you know what I mean? We've seen them do this before. So I'm not confident going into that game. Our best players are not performing. Our midfield is not cohesive. It's a massive worry. 3 wins in a row, yeah, but we're papering over cracks massively, man. What do you think, Joey?
I think, as well as he done last night, it can't be Eriksen. You can't be starting Eriksen against Man City because he just get run all over the place. Well, he won't run. That's the point.
He's a great player, but just not a great athlete.
Yeah, but I think you've got one of the best strengths you can have is knowing what you are good at, and more importantly, knowing what you're not good at. And I think against Man City, you haven't got the better quality. You know what I mean? And I think Man United fans would accept that. So instead of trying to have a player like Eriksen there, I'd just have legs. And it might be a little bit less quality. The delivery might not be as good and the creativity might not be as good. But I'd just try and have legs. And then, as I say, rely on your match winners. Rely on your Bruno Fernandes's, your Rashfords. Obviously, Højlund, man, he needs to get off the mark in the Premier League, really. Like 6 games, no goals so far. Saying that, I'm impressed by him. Like, I look at him and I'm like, he's a beast. But he needs to get his shooting boots on. So it's always going to be a hard one, and I do think that because of the loss to Arsenal and the little bit of recent blip Man City had, it might be a very difficult match for Man United. But it's a derby, innit? Anything can happen.
I think Man City would have saw the way Arsenal celebrated and stuff. Rightfully so. They scored a pretty much late winner. So I think they would have saw how they celebrated it and thought, nah, we ain't letting this happen again. Do you know what I mean? And we've seen Man City bounce back from a loss and go and win.
January is their time.
20 in a row.
But when January hits, they usually are into a crazy form.
Exactly.
My problem and worry with Man United is that, again, you say we have match winners, but they have been non-existent when we've needed them this season. Most of our goals have come from Casemiro, have come from our defenders, McTominay, who you wouldn't actually think would be our goal scorers. So the likes of Rashford, the likes of Bruno, Garnacho, I'll put him in there as well. Anthony, these are players who we need them to literally be showing up as much as possible. But I tried to understand, because it's not a blame thing, because we're here together and we're going to continue in the season. But what's going wrong with our style of play? Because I still don't know what it is. I can't actually pick a game this season where I say, you know what, for 90 minutes, we've controlled the game. The one game where I say we didn't even control it, but we looked to have a level of control, and which was to nullify, was Arsenal game. For 80 minutes, I felt like we stopped them from doing what they're used to doing, which is playing incredible football. But then after that, we lost our minds. I think going into a game like Man City, especially off the back of just about winning yesterday, and shout out to Onana for making an incredible save, because had that goal have gone in, then we would have been having a different conversation today. It would have been, we're not going to get into the Champions League knockout stages, but what happens when we start pointing the fingers? Because who do we point the fingers at? Is it the manager? Is it our star players? Because who is it? Because I look at the players and I think, if I wanted to put Palestri on, I wanted Garnacho to come on. I wanted younger players, Hannibal, to come on. But we've got the quote-unquote star players to do the job. So for me, it just seems as if the whole club, in terms of what starting 11 is, I don't even think Ten Hag knows.
The thing is, look, honestly, I think people expecting a style of play now, we need to forget about it.
But it's 2 years now. It's coming up to 2 years.
I'm frustrated as well, and then this is what I'm going to say, like, what I'm saying is we have to forget about it, because how often do you see in the middle of a season a style of play implement? You got to get that going from the preseason. You really have to identify that from the preseason, and then you follow them messages in that path. We haven't done that. We started the season, tried to do this dual 10 thing with Mount and Bruno. It went tits up. We almost conceded 7 goals against Wolves, and then now it's got reverted back to type. Where's Mason Mount? He's got 3 minutes one day. He's not even playing the next game.
Morale's just all over.
My issue is one thing, right? Before I go on to Ten Hag, the players that we're relying on, as I've mentioned before, Rashfords, Brunos and stuff, what they have shown us through their Man United career, the only thing that they've shown that they're reliable at is being unreliable. And that's the fact. They've been inconsistent. Rashford under Jose Mourinho was mid. Leaves Oli, he has a little resurgence, then falls off again. Then everyone's like, his confidence, blah, 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 MP stuff, whatever. Ten Hag next season, on form. This season, revert to type. Again, it happens all the time. And he's 25 years old now. He signed a new contract. This is his club. He's here till he's 31 or something like that. When are we going to now start demanding excellence, bro? We're doing too much kind of babying him, or maybe his confidence is low, or he just looks so unhappy. What's wrong with his body language? Mate, put the ball in the back of the net. Our attack have one goal between them, and that's only Rashford. One goal. The rest of our attack has 0 goals. So our best players are not stepping up. But do you know what my big issue is, right? And I've been thinking about it, because with Man United, you have so many, it could be the Glazers, it could be this, it could be that. But let's just strip it back. Ten Hag signings are poor.
Yeah.
Ten Hag signings
100%.
are poor. He has signed about 8 players, right? I'm not including the loans. Amrabat, Reguilon, those are like making the best out of a kind of a tough situation. He has not improved our squad. I'm still looking at, with these 8 signings, if Poch, I don't know if all of them signings were Poch's, so I'm just going to say, if Poch gets his 8 signings, Chelsea are going to look different. If Ange gets his 8 signings, we've already seen with Mickey van der Ven, Maddison, Vicario. If Arteta, if Pep get their signings in, you're going to see a different team to their mold, to their style. Mason Mount, you done with him already? Is he done with him, Mason Mount, already? Lissandro, decent signing. Onana, we brought him in for his ball playing ability as well. He's got the worst pass percentage in the Premier League, and he's playing at a lower line than he ever has. What's that about? I thought he was meant to be the sweeper keeper, ball playing keeper. Hoyland, young striker. Anthony, he could go down as our worst ever signing. Ericsson, stopgap. Casemiro, stopgap.
And look at the boys that are doing it for you at the minute.
He's bringing back McTominay and Maguire, who we tried to sell. Listen, we always complain about these players, but you have to look at the manager as well, because why are we relying on these players? Because, mate, the 400 million you were given, you spunked it.
Do you know where that does come into it, like with the owners and what's going on at boardroom level as well, though? You were saying about give the manager the money. You know, some managers in modern day football don't want to make the signings. Some managers want someone in charge of recruitment who is proven and good. You know, like the guy that was in charge at Brighton, his name slips my mind now. But obviously, some managers aren't going to be solely responsible for the signings, but the board and the owners need to make sure there's someone in place that can. So whether it falls on the manager or not, sometimes like it's a negative of having it fall on the manager. But when you look at Ten Hag, it's like normally with the way things are going, you'd associate that with the first season. And then the second season, things start to come good, start to tick over. You've got your feet under the table. You've now brought your men in and got rid of the ones you don't want. You can't say he doesn't have full control, because if it was, if it was above him, if it was the board that were telling him to do things, you're not exiling Jadon Sancho. For right or wrong, that's a sellable asset, and you've basically told the whole world he ain't got a good attitude. So you could have done damage limitation there and made sure that you could still recoup a fee, which then you could go and invest in other players. So I think a lot of the stuff that Ten Hag's done has not really worked out, and the whole disciplinarian type thing. I was saying this to Joel, Do you remember the Brentford match, start of last season? They outrun you by, I think it was 15 kilometres, something like that. Ten Hag makes the players run it, and you think, and then you hear that he ran it with them, and you're like, that's good, man. Like, it's discipline, but it's discipline in the right way. But I don't trust Ten Hag to be able to have the best judgment when it comes to where the line is with that discipline. And I just think a lot of the decisions he's making aren't really pushing the club on to realistically where you thought you'd be this season.
I think we've definitely gone back in time again with the way we are showcasing our abilities as a club, And I think what Cam said is spot on. With the signings that we've got, Anthony, big money for him, on a side where we really need someone to literally be an attacking threat. I always use Saka as a point of reference. I use Mohamed Salah as a point of reference. These players, when you give them the ball, they make things happen. Now, that right-hand side for me has been non-existent since David Beckham and Ronaldo left the club. Maybe Antonio Valencia.
Since Valencia.
Had a little spell there. But in terms of success that comes with it, it's been non-existent. And I just look at Ten Hag and I just feel like he's lost the dressing room already.
Really?
The reason why I say that is because it takes a lot for a team to understand a style of play, That's what we associate with managers. I'll give them time. Ange has come into the Tottenham team and immediately they understand
implemented what he needs to do.
Even when I look at Poch, for example, that game again, we'll touch on Chelsea in a bit, but you can see that the way that he wants this team to play, they're going to get it done regardless. And I feel like with Ten Hag, it just seems that this season, it's excuses. There's outside influences that are causing the media to just have a narrative about the way he is as a manager. The Sancho situation. For Sancho to say, I don't want to be with this manager no more, I think we need to look deeper into that situation. Yes, Sancho we might question his way of thinking, but why? Why does everyone look unhappy at the club? Why does all the players I really don't understand what the issue is. Is it the players? Is it the manager? Is it both of them?
I think it's a blend. I think there's definitely a blend there. I think we've got a manager that's come in to a team that were on their knees. They were done. They were finished. You know what I mean? And I think the club have basically said, Ollie was too nice to these guys. You know, Ollie tried to do the pally thing, and they took advantage. You know what I mean? Eventually, they took advantage of his kindness, and I think they tried to say, all right, we're going to bring in Ten Hag, and you've got full control to do whatever you want. Whoever you want to clear out, this is what you can do.
But the players that he wanted to clear out, some of them didn't even leave. So what control do you really have then?
But I remember he said that when he's joined, he wouldn't have joined unless he has full control over transfers, for example. But not even only that, I think the club have allowed him to do what he needs to do, to handle the Ronaldo situation the way he needs to handle it, whatever. So I think he's coming with this, I'm going to be this disciplinarian, I'm going to take over every single facet of the club. And I just don't think that's the right way to do it. But so that is a bit on the club. But at the same time, the players, we've had players that have been here since Jose, right? We've had players that have been here for a long time, even LVG. 1 second, LVG's a dictator. 1 second, Jose's a bully. Then Ollie's too nice. And now Ten Hag's a fake disciplinarian. Disciplinarian.
He's got there in the end.
Disciplinarian.
Yeah.
So what is it? Like, these players, can anyone handle these players? Like, you know what I mean? That's why I want to clear out. I've always kept saying the word overhaul. I want an overhaul. But the issue is overhaul, but I've seen how you spend that money. Now that's where I'm like, now I'm not on no Ten Hag out, Ten Hag in. But my biggest concern is those signings. It's the signings.
I think for me, signings, but also the way we play. Identity is massive in football.
That comes with your signings, though. But you should be signing to your identity.
I'll say one thing, look, for example, there's been managers who have, like, for example, Klopp came for Liverpool and he didn't stop the style of play because he didn't have the players. He realized, okay, this is the way I want to play. If you lot can't play, you lot are gone. And I'm going to bring in these players. Just give me time. And he did it. So I'm trying to give Ten Hag time. I think it's his second season. The Glazers situation in terms of financially, it's an issue, but you've had 400 million to spend. And I'm looking at your 8 signings that you've had. We've got Terrell Malacia.
Back up, who can't even displace Luke Shaw.
Sabitzer.
That's a horrific signing.
Wout Weghorst.
Bro, let me not even talk about that.
Dubravka.
I won't include those.
But still, it's a signing. Yeah. Let's call a spade a spade. Christian Eriksen and Casemiro, and I'll say Lisandro Martinez.
Good first seasons, but
moving on. And then when I compare to, like, you know, the way European football's going right now, and also the Premier League, I can name 3 or 4 or even 5 midfields that are better than what Man United have right
easily
now. And they're not even teams that you would are glossy or massive names, but in terms of cohesiveness and understanding of football identity, that is for me what we're missing big time. Signings are one thing, mentality is another thing, but the way we play when we start a game, that game yesterday, I genuinely was watching the game and thinking, what are we doing? Like, where is that 6 that's going to come and take the ball? And it took for Eriksen to come on. And like you said, Eriksen is a great talent, but against tougher teams who are stronger than him or you know, have more athleticism about him, he gets run out of the games. He's a luxury to have when we need him at best, not to be starting our games. And I think that is my problem with Man United, because you've bought Mason Mount, but you're not trusting him, or you're not implementing the style of play that I feel suits him. You've bought Amrabat here, who is a defensive strout player, but you started him off at left back. So of course injuries are one thing and so on and so forth, but I just think the decision making that he's made is very questionable, and it's going to need a lot of answers, especially if we continue to lose or play as bad as we've been playing over the last few weeks.
Do you not think, though, like, that's exactly hit the nail on the head there when you spoke about other midfields, right? All right, we spent a load of money, but we brought Enzo Fernandez in, right? We saw glimpses that he was quite good, but it weren't working last season. And whoever did it at Chelsea was able to look at it, identify it, and go, he needs a Caicedo next to him. Yeah? That's what we went and did. Who looked at Bruno last season and thought he needs Mount in with him. Does he? Because I think they're conflicting each other.
That's exactly it, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say. And look, when you look at it, there's fine margins in the Prem now, bro. 9th to 1st ain't that okay? Maybe with Man City, put Man City away, they're the best in the world. 9th to 2nd, the gaps between the teams aren't that crazy, and the problem is that's why you need to get every signing right. I know it sounds like harsh, but you have to get nearly every signing right in this day and age. Growing up, when it was Man United on top, how often would an Aston Villa player start for our club? Never.
You'd have to be
Rarely.
exceptional. Like
You would have
Ashley
to be.
Young was like.
You would have to be unbelievable, and we would have to be struggling in that department. You know what I mean? Like, Gareth Barry at his best was not walking in with Paul Scholes and Carrick there. Do you know what I mean? I can look at Aston Villa right now and
Douglas Luiz,
Kamara,
like,
these men will start for my club now.
Watkins will play up front for us. And I guess what you guys are saying are perfect, because for me, the gap is so much more finer. So now our job needs to be more stronger. Now we are living off our history. If you was a Premier League player, a young player, and you wanted to develop yourself, you know not to go into Manchester United. No. You can genuinely see the development issues that we have. Even our young players that come through, they don't mind going on loan. They don't mind going to championship teams because they know that they have to go back to go further again. And for me, that's a massive issue. And I think every manager that comes into Manchester United, their job is more about getting a philosophy right and also mentality right, and that's not a job for a manager. That should already be instilled there. Chelsea, since Abramovich, even before that, they've always been a great team, but since Abramovich, you know what you're getting into when you get into that team. The level is this, and if you don't, you're gone. I don't want to become that team, and I don't want Ten Hag to leave. I do trust in him, but I feel like we need to highlight the fact that your signings have been horrible. The players that you have, you're not adapting to their strengths and also their weaknesses. I look at Bruno Fernandes and I feel like, yes, you were a great attacking player, but defensively non-existent. So you need someone who's going to do that job for you. Like yesterday when Eriksen came on, he big time, because he's our captain, bro. He's our captain. And like for me, example yesterday, I've got onto Scott McTominay a lot, but yesterday when I saw him in the car park, I said, bro, well done, because you played well. Because without you and your running around, we would not, even though he gave away the penalty, but he's trying his best. That's one thing I'll say in it. So I think for United, there's always a conversation about what's going wrong and what's happening, but positives is we got 3 points, and we got to go to Copenhagen, and potentially if we can win that game, it puts us in a better position, and we just got to hope that Bayern Munich can do their job as well. But a game that I was also at, which Cam didn't want to come to, was Chelsea against Arsenal. Now, Chelsea, for me, I spoke to you about 2-3 weeks ago when you came on the podcast about where they're at right now, and you wasn't trying to get too excited. But for me, I think you should, because that's an Arsenal team which you expected to probably lose to, or it would be a difficult game. But I'd say until you kind of, I won't say throw it away, but you lost a bit of concentration there. I think it was more the keepers. The keepers had a horror show in that game. You were incredible. What was so good about that performance in comparison to how you've been from the start of the season to now?
Do you know what? I'm actually going to go against you a little bit there and say that I always knew we were going to turn up against Arsenal.
Oh, really?
We played really well against Liverpool. I knew we were going to play well against Arsenal, and I know we're going to play well against Spurs in a couple of weeks when we play them. They're not the matches I worry about with this Chelsea side, because I think it's very easy, for example, right, to use like a boxing analogy, if you've got a fighter that's coming to take your head off, you're probably going to look quite good against him because there's going to be opportunities, and that's the same as game of football. You've got a team like that come to win against you, and I'm not on about winning by being defensive and then nicking a goal on a counter-attack. I'm on about Arsenal looking to come to Stamford Bridge, make a statement and put 3 or 4 past Chelsea. If you've got a team that come in with that sort of mentality, I think Chelsea will always go blow for blow with them and do really, really well against them, because the game allows you to be able to, have a little bit less possession than we've been having in other matches, counter-attack them, use our legs and energy in midfield, which we talk about midfield threes there. Like, at the minute, I don't want to get too gassed up.
I saw your post.
But I am gassed up.
Say it, Joey.
We got one of the best midfield threes in the league at the minute.
And can you state the 3? Who's the 3?
The 3 being Caicedo, Enzo and Gallagher. And
you're big on Gallagher, yeah?
And I put Gallagher in that. Gallagher does whatever he wants and plays wherever he wants. If Gallagher wants to go up front, Gallagher goes up front. If he wants to stand in the dugout or Poch, he does that too. He will do whatever he wants.
Man said Gallagher runs Chelsea now, yeah? How did this happen? Hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Wait, man said Gallagher does what he wants.
Yep.
Like he's John Terry or something.
He's the captain of the team.
How did Gallagher get this? Because he was about to leave.
Bruv.
And now he can do what he wants at Stamford Bridge. He runs the club.
This is a very very, very interesting.
You know how much I love Gallagher.
Football is mad, you know. This is a redemption of all redemptions.
Do you know what I saw? I saw it at Palace, yeah. He was head and shoulders the best player in the team at Crystal Palace, yeah. And I think Crystal Palace is a good Premier League team to use as a point of reference. But to go to Chelsea, where the stakes are higher, and to be able to, like, you know, be one of the standout players when things are not going really well, shows me a lot about his personality. And look, Poch has seen more than what any of us have seen, because he trains with these guys every single day. One thing I saw in the Arsenal game is that the 50-50s, he wants it more. He's able to know that, okay, maybe there's players with better who are better on the ball. I'm going to release and give it to them. That is a midfield player who's an attacker's dream, is to know that whenever I'm making my run, I'm going to be able to find it, and then also be ready for the second ball as well. He does so much from a transition from a 6 to a 10, really, really well.
But is he not? Don't you think right now that Poch is using him as like a example to all the talented players? Like, this is the hard work that you need to achieve. Are you sure that Gallagher's the one that you guys are going to need going forward for a long period of time? Is he not just maybe you lot's Darren Fletcher, you lot's Gareth Barry, you guys like when Pep was using Fabian Delphs and these? Is he not just that, or do you actually think long term he's that guy for you guys?
Do you know what? I completely understand, because they're good analogies to use, and he almost does fit that profile in terms of what you're saying there. A certain player for a certain job, when a manager first comes in, that you can rely on. But when you look from, we've always known what Gallagher is in terms of leaving everything on the pitch, the legs he's got and whatnot. But when you look about the technical improvements, like the weight of pass now in comparison to what it was before Pochettino came in, the fact that he's timing these challenges right, I was at a match early on last season against Leicester. He gets sent off, I think 15 minutes into the game with a rash challenge. The timing and the judgment of his challenges now, the passes he's splitting through the lines, like, he's been our most creative player in terms of actually creating big chances. Now, albeit we haven't been able to finish that many of them, but in terms of technically what he's doing, you see, like, the way the ball went down, it was for the Cole Palmer chance that he just slided across the face of goal. Gallagher breaks free past like 3 defenders. He's doing things that he wasn't doing before, so we always knew he had tenacity, but what we didn't know is he had that sort of class, and I think Pochettino's brought that out of him quite quickly. So to see the amount of time it's took him 8 weeks into the season to level up as much as he has, I think he can carry on going, and I do think
Talk your shit, Joey.
It helps when you have like metronome players like Enzo and stuff next to you and Caicedo, who are comfortable getting the ball, because the distances between your passes are a lot shorter. Do you know what I mean? When you have a player that wants it right next to you, you can just lend it to him, you can get it back. Sometimes, like, especially with like Man United, the distances are far too much. People are spraying balls every single time they get the ball, and it's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? So I think that might be something that helps, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see with Gallagher. You know what I mean? I don't know, man.
He's not Nathan Collins. This is the Nathan Collins. This is the Nathan McTominay. This is the missing. We haven't seen Nathan Collins.
What are you talking about?
Missing poster. For Nathan Collins.
I told the viewers.
You came here with him.
I'm gonna make this guy hate Nathan Collins. I told, man.
I don't hate him, but I hate your take. Yeah, have respect for Gallagher, bro.
Gallagher's good. Now, listen. Gallagher's good. He's useful. But I remember Jose Mourinho did this. He came into the team. We had Paul Pogba and these guys, and he didn't like the attitude of what was going on. He brought this young lad McTominay in, started him every single week. McTominay was running around. We were all like, yeah, McTominay's like going to be that dog. But then eventually the quality then starts to shine through, and you're like, nah, we need to upgrade on this.
I'll tell you one more thing before we move on from Gallagher, and this is like, not breaks my heart to say it, but I'm a massive Reece James fan. He's my favourite player at Chelsea. He's going to come back soon. I don't know. I'd give him back the armband, you know. I think I might keep it on Gallagher for the time being.
This is why Joey Knight is one of the greatest people on YouTube. Because I said, what did I just say? I said to you, Gallagher, if I'm a manager, and I'm not a manager. I don't even have to manage my own life. But Gallagher, for me, showcases what the level is about trying. Yes, there's players that's better than him, technically and so on and so forth. But, like, for example, Cole Palmer. If Cole Palmer's looking like and looking at Gallagher and thinking, bro, this guy's always training. He's always running for the 50-50s. Maybe Cole Palmer adds that to his game as well. It just showcases what exactly it is needed in order for them to win, because it's working right now. And also, Reece James is injured a lot as well.
Reece James will leave the club if that happens.
No, but
he'll leave the club. He'll leave the club.
Fair play. But if you want, again, we're speaking about Harry Maguire.
Imagine getting removed off captain in the same season that you got given it.
Look what Harry Maguire's done. At the end of the day, he's got stripped of his captaincy, got given to Bruno, but who won the game for us yesterday? It's just about mentality. How much do you want
Reece
it?
James got to focus on starting, mate. Malo Gusto is a good player, you know. I know that was a mistake against Arsenal in the end, but he's comfortable on the ball. He's a good player. I like him.
I genuinely love what's happening at Chelsea.
But touching on Cole Palmer,
yes.
bro, that's gonna be Euro 2024 wild card. Cole Palmer, he's gonna make the squad. That guy is a baller, and the thing is, he's been a baller. By the way, every opportunity he was given at Man City, he was always taking it.
League
Carabao Cup,
that was his cup,
bro. Yeah, I mean, he was the Carabao Cup Messi. You know what I'm saying? The Carabao Cups, and then even to start the season, he scored in the Charity Shield. He scored in the Super Cup, and it was looking like he's gonna be a important part of the team because Mahrez had left. So I was so surprised to see that City let him go, especially that he's a local boy.
He said to Pep, I want an opportunity. I want to go.
I think so.
ready.
I think so, and I don't blame him because look how everyone's talking about Phil Foden. Yes, Phil Foden has all the medals, but everyone's still saying, "What's his best position? Is he a left winger? Is he centre?" I think Cole Palmer probably thought, "Well, I know I'm going to play at Chelsea. I'm going to go there and do my thing." Do you know what I mean? And I was so surprised to see it happen. One, because he's a good player. And second, because he's a local. And then I'm thinking, all right, where's he going to do? How is he going to slot into that Chelsea team? And he's just taking it. It already looks like his team.
Bro,
it looks like his team.
He took the ball off Raheem Sterling to take the penalty.
Bro, Enzo said, "Hey,
yeah,
100%,
don't joke with that one to Sterling, bro. You better give it to him."
No, but Sterling's a senior figure in there. Enzo don't have that ratings like that.
But why he patterned him, you know? Sterling got patterned. He got patterned.
I was in the box at Nike, so I could see it closer to than most people could. But but literally, you could see Sterling go, all right then. Because for me, I think had he have missed that penalty, Sterling would have said, next time, little man, I deal with this. But that, for me, he was cool as a cucumber. And even just his technical ability, bro, and the confidence that he has. There was a moment where I think when you was attacking, this was in the second half, like just him doing these little feints, it's just like you believe so much in your talent. And I know Poch is someone who is genuinely saying, go on, continue. And then I think another honourable mention is Thiago Silva at 39 years of age is, like, I don't drink wine, but that's a fine wine. Yeah. Because for me, it's like,
what a player, man.
What a player. Not only are you so cool and composed, it allows Colwell to literally be like, rah, well, if he's calm, then I need to be a bit more calm. And he's going to learn so much from him. Like, it's a beautiful thing that you've got that player still playing in the Premier League at that level. And yeah, man, Thiago Silva, without him in your team, it's techie for the Wecky.
But some people were calling for him to get dropped this season, Thiago Silva, because they wanted Colwell inside, and I think who did they want? The Sassy, that's it, the Sassy to play. But Thiago Silva, as you mentioned, bro, he's a legend of the game, bro, and he continues to do it. There might be some times that maybe you might need to rotate, but he never actually shows that he needs rotation. He seems to have the fitness to always keep going. So, look, Chelsea, I don't know. Chelsea they got the talent in their squad to have a good future. So let's see how it goes. Just hopefully it don't happen too soon. Do you know what I mean? Because if they finish like above Man United or something, that is totally crazy, bro.
I think they will.
As it stands,
it's very much like a conflict of styles between the two teams because you boys are picking up points and you're not looking that good in doing it every single time. Yeah, we're looking good in draws and defeats sometimes. So it sort of balances itself out. It'd be a very interesting one. It's mad, isn't it? Like at the start of the season, I had my eyes set on right. We're going to qualify for Champions League. I'm not completely writing it off. But you know what my competition is now? Chelsea against Man United. Every week, that's all I come, because a lot of my mates are Man United fans. All I come back to every week is I go,
why does everyone hate us, man?
I know.
We're most hated,
it's
man.
our history, bro. We did it to ourselves.
Most hated, bro.
No,
You're not rivals, bro. Think about Tottenham, bro.
No, secretly though, they became our rivals.
Arsenal, bro.
When Jose came to Chelsea, they became our rivals.
Yeah. Flip it now, man. When they say the 6 postcodes linked up just to beef us, why? Why, bro?
If you know.
Bro, come on, man.
That's crazy. That's honourable mention, though, just before we wrap up, Spurs. Now, Spurs, obviously, whenever I think of Angeball, I always think of Cams, because Cams is always speaking highly about how he's managing Spurs right now. And, of course, James Maddison has been an integral part. Now, I put out a tweet when it first started happening, started cooking a bit about, I would love to see Harry Kane in this team. But, there's a lot of tweets saying that, oh, no, we play better without him. Yeah, and I'm starting to see, they do play better without him. Of course, Kane is, for me, one of the best finishers in the world, if not the best. But they've got it right where everybody seems to be able to contribute and create chances, and Maddison seems to have this free roam to just be able to be the pass that passes to the goal. Yeah. He's such an integral part of that team. How good are Spurs, and Is this a thing now? Is this Spurs throughout the season? Do you see it getting any worse or better? Like, what's your views?
Spurs' first team are very good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When now the depth in their team is not good. And we saw that in the last game against Fulham. As soon as the starters started coming off, Fulham started getting chances, and all of a sudden it looked like on XG, they were levels. You would think, if you didn't watch the game, you'd think there was an even game, but it wasn't. Maddison, for me, so at the moment, is the player of the year. I think the way he's walked into Spurs, he's made that team his own, and the impact that he's having on there is amazing. Son, up there. I've always thought Son's a 9. I've said it many times from years ago. The guy can go both ways. How a striker that can go right foot, left foot instantly is a massive issue. Because what way is the defender going to show him? You're ambidextrous. You can go either way. You're going to finish. Do you know what I mean? And we see it. He gets the ball. He turns, whips it. He's one of the best finishers in the world as well when he gets the opportunity. So the thing about Ange is, as I said, he's got the first team going. They believe in what he wants. They believe in his system. And the reason for that is, you look at how charismatic he is. You look at how, when he's in a press conference or wherever he is, he controls the room. Do you know what I mean? You listen. When he speaks, you listen. You can just feel it. And then again, what I was saying about Ten Hag, he has got all his signings correct so far. Vicario, 20 million. He looks an excellent signing. Look what's going on with Raya and Sanchez and Ramsdale and Onana and then Vicario, 20 million, just slots in there, makes some big saves, catches, went corners, all that type of things. Mickey van der Ven. Come on, man. The guy's looking like a young Varane with the speed, with the recovery pace, the athleticism. He's got his signings right so far, and that's the manager that you look at and you think, And now imagine giving him an extra 200 million. Now you're starting to talk. I don't think Spurs are going to win the league, but listen, people thought they were going to be 8th, 9th without Harry Kane. And
they were going to be about
top 4 is a real possibility now.
I thought they was going to struggle in that game without Basuma as well. But Sarr did a great job of just doing what needed to be done. But yeah, I think you're right. When it comes to the strength and depth, I think that's probably where they'll struggle. But
definitely,
you know, Brennan Johnson's back from injury now as well. So I think they've got a good team in terms of building some sort of momentum and stuff, but Ange's doing really, really well. Fulham, for me, obviously, they're not the toughest team to face, but there were some moments where I think Bassi had a very, very bad game.
Bassi,
he had a bad game.
I don't think he's Prem level, man.
Do you know what?
I don't think he's
I like him a lot as a person. I think he's great as a person, but as a football player, I think this is the level where you really got to learn life, because there was a lot of chances that, you know, I could see that there was like, that's the weakness.
Yes.
And they really preyed on that. And I think, you know, against a lesser team, maybe you look better, but that's the level that we need to be seeing every game.
I think we need to see more from Fulham, because at the minute, one of the things we keep saying is about a lot of teams like Fulham. Obviously, Brentford got a win on the weekend, but they have been looking poor. And a lot of teams, we're going, they're lucky there's some bad teams in the league this year. But now when you look at it, like Sheffield United, they got pumped by Newcastle, but even in their other losses, they ain't looked that bad. Luton are
we made them look like Real Madrid.
Luton are picking up points here and there. Like, so teams like Fulham, you'd like to see them start getting a few wins on the board. Obviously, I was at Craven Cottage for the match against Chelsea the other Monday night, and they were pretty non-existent, man.
I don't think Marcus Silva wants to be there anymore. When you think about the fact that he was trying to go to, I can't remember, at one of the
he got offered an absolute bag to go
he tried. He wanted to go. I think it got blocked or whatever the situation was. He wanted to go. Mitrovic is gone, which is a massive loss. Mitrovic looks like R9 out there, by the way.
No, he's scoring hella.
He's got an overhead kick. Yeah. He looks like Rivaldo, bro. He's cooking out there. 11 goals in 12 games. I think 3 assists.
Left foot, right foot, so he's not
anything. Overhead, whatever. So they've lost a big player there. At the end of the day, I think Mitrovic, he got, was it 13, 14 Premier League goals last season?
Yeah.
To lose that and put Vinicius, with all due respect, a Spurs flop. You're relying on him. I can see why Mark Silva's probably thinking, yo, I ain't with this. And I will not be surprised if he doesn't last the season, Marcus Silva.
Well, I need some predictions for the big game on Sunday. Manchester United against Man City. Now, Joey, you're a neutral, so you don't really care. I'm sure you want us to lose, so you can tell your mates.
I feel bad now, because I'd like to sort of quash that and give you a point in that, but I just can't see it, man. I mean, being at Old Trafford is going to make it go in your favour a tiny bit, but I just think with Man City, obviously, like you say, seeing Arsenal celebrate, seeing other teams now pushing on, and their position this season early on maybe in a little bit of jeopardy in terms of being champions, defending that title, I could see a statement performance here. Maybe a 2-1 win.
What? Wait, you think we're gonna win?
Nah, to City.
Oh.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, Cam's looking at you like you absolutely lost your mind there.
Listen, I think it's going to be a grueling one, man.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be 5 like what Liverpool love to do to us. Liverpool, like a loss to Liverpool is a hammering.
Yeah,
I think Man City is just going to be a slow death. You know what I mean? And
Like that 2-0 2 seasons ago.
yeah,
That was
slow
that was
bro.
terrible.
That 2-0 2 seasons ago. What felt like the 5-0 Liverpool gave us. Like it was like, wait, which one? We were actually saying which one was what?
It was like, oh, you know when they got to the goal, like, oh, you know, then pass it back. I don't want to score yet.
Like, it was sad, and I think that's going to happen again. Rodri back in the team, John Stones back as well. They're only waiting on that final piece in KDB. Obviously, he's not going to make it, but yeah, I think it's going to be about 2-0 Man City.
I think it will probably be, if it's for me, 2 score lines, I think it'll either be 3-1 or it'll be 2-0. Just because I feel like they'll want it more. And I feel like with Copenhagen, what I learned from that was that if it was a more clinical team, they would score very, very early. I think 2 goals in the first half is not something that is a wild statement to make because they are much more clinical than us. So it depends on how we start that game as well. I think if it's no Stretford end, it's booming. It always is the first 10 minutes of a game. But if we don't match that energy in the stadium, then we're going to struggle.
You guys are going to go and win now. We've all backed you to lose.
For Sir Bobby.
You're going to go win.
We've got to do it for Sir Bobby. We've got to do it for Sir Bobby. And of course, because you're here, if he wasn't here, we wouldn't care.
No.
But Chelsea-Brentford, what's your thoughts on that game?
What game? Where is that?
It's at home.
It's at Stamford Bridge, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Saturday morning, I'm there, you know.
12:30 kickoff.
Yeah. Nathan Collins masterclass.
Yeah.
Wow. He's calling it.
Do you know what? Yeah, we failed to beat Brentford home and away last season. The season before Brentford at home, I was there, started lovely. Rudiger smashes one in from about 35 yards out. And then Ericsson puts on a masterclass and they beat us 4-1. So that was tragic. Listen, I was speaking about emotional come downs. I'm hoping that Chelsea don't suffer one after how well we played in the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
I'd take any sort of win in that. Do you know? I don't, some people would be going, right, let's push on now and get 4 past them. Let's get 3 points. If we could beat them 2-0, I'd be very, very happy.
I think you lot will do the job. I think it would be 3-0.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I'm going 1-1.
Yeah. Wow. Nathan Collins goal, yeah? Get the hell out of there.
Nathan Collins masterclass and Mbeumo.
Mbeumo, yeah. Mbeumo's
1-1. Yeah, Chelsea's firepower is still a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nico Jackson glitched there on the weekend.
Yeah.
Proper glitch. But anyway, massive thank you to Joey Knight, of course, a friend of the channel, and Culture Camps finally has turned up for work.
This guy,
we are very, very happy to have him here today. Guys, let him know in the comments how much we miss him on the channel because he built this up with his bare hands.
Exactly. Like Wenger and Emirates Stadium, mate. I built it in my hands.
Yeah. All right. And I've been Harry Finero, and this has been an Inside Scoop. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I don't just mean that to say it. Please, it helps with the algorithm. It allows people to see our content as well. Go check out Joey Knight's podcast as well. It will be the link.
Guest recommendations as well.
Yeah, let us know who you want. Guest recommendations as well. We really need that. But like I said, like, comment, and subscribe, and click that notification bell so you're notified when we upload. Peace. Have a good weekend.